This is not just a story about power. This is a story about betrayal, greed, tradition, and a land fighting for its soul. And by the time it ends, nobody walks away the same. Let Heaven Fall throws us straight into chaos. A grieving mother is ready to end her life after her daughter and niece are sentenced to death for standing up against oppression. But just when all hope seems lost, everything flips. They are alive, released, and already back in the village, leading a revolution. And that's where the real story begins. This movie wastes no time establishing its central conflict. A community blessed with natural resources, gold, diamonds, wealth beyond imagination. Yet, the people live like slaves on their own land. Why? Because their king has sold them out, literally. The villagers, led by fierce and fearless women, rise up with one demand: stop the illegal mining and compensate the rightful owners of the land. It's simple, fair, and powerful. But power never gives up control easily. Now let's talk about one of the strongest aspects of this film: the characters. At the center of it all is a bold female leader, a warrior who represents resistance. She's fearless, vocal, and completely committed to the struggle. But here is where the story gets interesting. This isn't a simple good versus evil narrative. The lines begin to blur. Because while the people are fighting for justice, the king is playing a deeper game. Instead of confronting the rebels head-on, he chooses manipulation. He invites their leader for a peace negotiation. Sounds reasonable, right? Wrong. This is where strategy turns into betrayal. The king doesn't just want to stop the rebellion, he wants to control it. And somehow, he succeeds. What follows is one of the most shocking turns in the story. The same leader who once stood for justice begins to shift. Slowly, subtly, then completely. She accepts money. She aligns with the oppressors. She becomes the very thing she once fought against. This transformation is chilling, and the movie doesn't hold back in showing the consequences of greed. The group begins to fracture. Trust is broken. Loyalty is questioned. And suddenly, the real enemy isn't just the king, it's within. Now let's talk about the spiritual layer of this story, because this is where Let Heaven Fall truly stands out. The film dives deep into traditional beliefs, spiritual fortification, and mystical powers. Characters gain supernatural strength through rituals. There's a strong sense that this battle isn't just physical, it's spiritual. One character, once empowered to protect the people, becomes nearly unstoppable. Bullets don't work. Fear disappears. Power consumes her. But power without purpose, that's where everything collapses. The spiritualist who once helped create this warrior realizes the mistake and decides to correct it by empowering new fighters to bring her down. And just like that, the story escalates into something bigger than rebellion. It becomes a war of destiny. Meanwhile, the king continues his schemes, bribing, manipulating, and even plotting to replace himself if necessary. He's not just a villain, he's a strategist who understands that control is more valuable than loyalty. But even the smartest plans have limits, because the truth always finds a way out. As the story unfolds, we uncover the real depth of betrayal. Friends turn against each other, family bonds are shattered, and one of the most heartbreaking moments comes when we learn that a key character was responsible for the death of her own mother, all in pursuit of power. That moment changes everything. It's no longer just about land or wealth. It becomes deeply personal. Revenge, justice, and redemption collide in the final act. The warriors regroup, stronger and wiser. The truth about the king's manipulation is exposed, and the people finally rise, not just in anger, but in unity. The king falls, and with his fall comes something the community has been fighting for all along: freedom. But the movie doesn't end there, because Let Heaven Fall understands something many stories ignore. Removing a bad leader doesn't automatically create a good future. A new king is chosen, but not without controversy. Questions of integrity, tradition, and true leadership come into play. And in a powerful closing moment, the new ruler promises to return the land to the people and correct the mistake of the past. It's a hopeful ending, but not a perfect one. And that's what makes this story so compelling. Now let's break down what really works in this film. First, the themes. This is a story about corruption, resistance, and the cost of power. It reflects real-world issues: leaders exploiting resources, communities fighting for their rights, and the moral compromises people make when faced with wealth and survival. Second, the characters. Nobody is completely clean, and nobody is completely evil. Even the heroes make questionable choices, and that complexity makes the story feel real. Third, the pacing. The film moves fast, but it never loses focus. Every scene pushes the story forward, building tension and raising the stakes. And finally, the message. Let Heaven Fall is ultimately asking one question: what are you willing to sacrifice for power, and is it worth it? Because in this story, power comes at a cost, lives are lost, trust is broken, and even when justice is served, the scars remain. This is not just entertainment, it's a reflection of society, of leadership, of human nature. And by the time the credits roll, one thing is clear: when greed takes over, even heaven can fall. Thank you so much for watching and staying with me till the end. I truly appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed this review and want to experience the full story with all the drama, twists, and powerful moments, head over to Chinemelu TV right now to watch the complete movie. Trust me, it's even more intense when you see it unfold yourself. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing movie reviews. See you in the next one.